So welcome along to A Story to Tell with me, Richard Beauvoisin. This is mainly taken from my Radio Bath show every Thursday morning from 10 until 12. If you do like it, don't forget to subscribe, share it to others and let everyone know all about Radio Bath. Hope you enjoy it.
But when I get home to you, I find the things that you do will make me feel alright. You know I feel alright. You know I feel alright.
Morning, everybody. Right, this is a weird show for me. There's the Beatles. So I always ask my guests, right, would you like to choose some music? And they say, yes, that's fine. And then I've realised this is effectively my show. Yes. So I am choosing the music, which is really weird, if I'm honest with you. There we go. Good morning, Sarah.
Good morning.
And how are you today?
I am tickety-boo, thank you.
Good. I interviewed you a few weeks ago. Let's talk about you very quickly. I love this. What do you do?
So I am a celebrant, a civil celebrant.
And what is a civil celebrant?
So I basically, I am in the position of being able to create beautiful ceremonies for people who are looking to celebrate an element in their lives.
So that'd be weddings, funerals, babies. Are you part of the baby creation or?
Thankfully not. Thankfully not.
No, you're just there at the christening or the
non-religious naming ceremony, yes.
Fabulous. Now, you have come in today because a number of people have said they would like to know a little bit more about me because I interview everybody else, but nobody really knows a great deal about me. I haven't been any part of the process of this.
No,
I said to you, I'll happily write the show and I'll do it. And you went, no, you won't. So yeah, I generally don't know what's going to happen in the next 2 hours or so. If anybody does have any questions, then you can email studio@radiobath.com or you can text Bath followed by a message to 80011, or I put a post out on my Facebook profile today. You can pop your questions on there as well, mainly non-dance related.
Yes, please. We've got lots of dance related, so we're looking for other things that people want to know about the enigma that is Richard. The
enigma. See, everybody knows my stage personality or my radio personality, but who is the real Richard Beauvoisin? That's the question.
Yes, it is.
Yeah,
You've just stole my first question.
Have I? Okay. We'll find that bit out in a minute. So, yeah. So any questions, email studio@radiobath.com. We're coming up. I'm here literally right until midday today. Sarah's asking all the questions today. Now, for one of the first times ever in my life, I hesitated in raising the microphone up then. Literally, I was like, if I raise the fader up, then I have to start talking and I have to know what's coming up next. And the strange thing is I don't know what's coming up next. So for those that weren't listening earlier, you've missed Chesney Hawkes. That was on between 9:30 and 10 o'clock. If you want to catch up on that, type in Radio Bath, any podcast provider, or you can even go to my YouTube channel if you want to watch it as well. But these 2 hours are all about me. So I have the lovely Sarah Wheadon, who came in a few weeks ago talking about her celibrancy. Is that right? Celibrancy. No, celibrancy. You're not celibate. Oh, it started well. It really has.
I'm not sure I could make a living out of that part. Although I might look into it.
Anything is possible. So the scary thing for me now is I'm no longer in control. I'm still on the side of the desk, so I still can fade Sarah up and down if I need to. But Sarah, it's all yours.
All right, my lovely. Well, so Richard B., you are the one and only.
Oh, okay.
Like my link there, did you see that?
I saw the segue, it's lovely.
Fabulous. So I thought, when you asked me to do this interview, I thought I'll do a bit of digging about, find out who you really are, what's on available out there. So I did a bit of a co-pilot search on you.
And it came up with anything?
It did. It came up saying that Richard B. is a stripper, an adult entertainer, and a creator of content for adult-only sites.
Okay.
I wondered if they'd maybe seen the balloon dance.
That is possible, yes.
And perhaps misinterpreted welly wanging.
Anything is possible on both of those. Are we going to have to explain what they are now?
I think we are.
Okay. So the balloon dance. So back in, when was this? I think it was around about 2008 or so. I did the very first balloon dance. Now, a balloon dance is where you have 5 or 6 men, and it has to be men, up on stage. We don't have any clothing on except for, the top part of tights, which are double thickness.
Yeah.
Okay, so what we used to do is we used to cut out a triangle of that part of the tights, and then we would use body tape to tape it around our nether regions in a triangular shape to kind of hold everything in. So if there were any accidents of the balloons not quite going in the right place, nothing would be on show and we couldn't get arrested. Okay, so that was the plan. The strange thing about that, and then what happens in the balloon dance is it came from the 1980s. There was a show that was on that had this balloon dance, and you have two balloons, one covering your bits and one covering your chest, and the plan is that you take the top balloon down, knock the bottom balloon out the way, and that then comes back up to being the chest one, so therefore nothing's ever on show. You're kind of walking and doing a little dance at the same time. There are times when it doesn't go right purposefully. There are balloons that get popped. There are balloons that go the wrong way. There's one point we all turn around and show our rear ends off. I have done this dance 5 times in 5 different venues, and it is available on a number of different platforms to view if you wish to. There was one occasion down in Exeter where one of the chaps didn't have the thing on correctly in his bits, and he didn't quite get the balloons in the right place, and everything was shown. That's all I'm saying. And my mother-in-law still quotes it now because she's still scarred by the occasion, because she didn't know it was going to happen, and there all of a sudden her son-in-law is up on the stage. The scary thing, just very quickly, I realise I'm talking a lot, but then I realise it's me talking.
It is you talking, it's all about you.
I know, it's weird. Is that, we do it, and it's like male bonding in the back of, while we're all undressing, and, we all kind of have to make sure it's done. I have to go round initially with a pair of scissors down at waist level, making sure that none of the tight part is being shown. Okay, so I have to kind of snip off any excess parts. And then the worst thing is that afterwards, everybody runs off stage, and I'm normally DJing these nights as well, so I've got some music playing. We go backstage, and of course what everybody does is they just rip off the body tape. And what's happened on a number of occasions is they've then left it on the floor, and it's kind of hairy.
No!
And I am the one, because nobody else is going to pick it up, are they? So
You are the one and only.
I am the one and only that goes around and picks up, all of that. So but it's been a while since it's been done again. So I haven't done it for a number of years. Maybe it's time to do it again.
Maybe not.
And I've also had a number of people saying, why aren't the ladies doing it? They could do a fan dancer, covering their bits and pieces with fans, you see. I haven't had any volunteers come forward yet. What about you, Sarah?
Not a chance. Not a chance. There is no tights big enough in this world.
Okay, that's going to cover all your bits.
Yeah. No! I was going to say that would make me do it.
Oh, okay. I thought you were on about the tights that are covering your bits up, but there we go. What was the other one you said about?
A rude.
No, I'm not saying that. What was the other?
The welly wanging.
Oh, the welly wanging. So we perform over in a dance weekend over in Norfolk. We have the pleasure of doing each year, and part of that is that you're in a sports hall. It's just one of the other activities you do, and you have to throw a welly as far as you can. And this year I did loads of training montage videos, like Rocky Styley, about how well I was going to do it. The very first one that I did, the video that I released last year, nearly hit somebody, and that got 1.3 million views. This year, the one that I did really well got about 5,000 views. Unfortunately, in the final, they said, we're changing it to your left hand, which I hadn't trained at all in how to throw a welly with my left hand. And I nearly took out the audience, and that's had about 20,000 views. So,
yeah, I've seen that one.
Yeah, lots of people have. There we go. So that's my life. Yeah, welly wanging and balloon dancing. I'm glad of all the things I've done in my life. They're the 2 things we started off with.
Well, that's not actually true. That's not what Copilot did say, but I thought I would start with that.
That's fine.
So what Copilot did say is that you're a multifaceted individual with a passion for dance and broadcasting. You've been a Ciroc teacher, DJ and franchisee for over 20 years, sharing your experience in dance through classes and events. Your association with Ciroc, where you teach dance classes and create welcoming atmosphere for beginners and expert dancers alike. And in addition to your dance career, you are a radio bath contributing voice and personality to the station.
Oh, here we are now.
And here we are now.
Yeah.
I thought that was pretty good going.
It's all right. It's not bad, is it?
Yeah. I mean, it doesn't give us everything.
No.
But I did myself. And it said I was a celebrant, but I'm also a lawyer, apparently.
Are you?
Yeah.
Are you a lawyer?
No.
No. Would you like to be a lawyer?
Absolutely not. So given that we are swapping sides and I am the person who is interviewing you today, I am interested to know about what makes you tick.
What makes me tick? I suppose variety is probably the best way of saying it. I had a normal job. And that was fine. And I'm a dance teacher now, but I'm now 50 and I'm now doing so many different things. Everybody always says, how do you have the time for that? And not everything works all the time. I'm aware of that. And I just like to keep it varied. So today is such a different day and I'm, got loads of different things going on. I interviewed Chesney Hawkes last week. How many people can say that?
I know.
Which is really quite cool.
Yeah.
Key for me, though, the number one thing is family. That's always a thing. And I know you've got a number of little audio clips, and I'm aware of the time we've been talking already. So we might need to break into that quickly.
All
so
right.
Tell me about why you've got some audio clips then.
So when I was on, you very kindly contacted my mum and got a little message from her. So I thought I would do the same for you in terms of feedback from your family and friends.
Joy.
Uh-huh. So if you play the first one, it's a little message to you.
And this is my wife, isn't it?
This is your wife,
Here we
Zoe.
go.
Hi Sarah, it's Zoe here. I just wanted to say a few words about my lovely husband, Mr. B. Quite frankly, the world is just a better place having Richard in it. Sometimes a more challenging place, but we wouldn't have him any other way. Most admirable to me is his passion for helping others, whether that's teaching people to dance in the studio or simply listening to their problems. He's great to talk to and a really good listener. Mainly, he just wants family and friends to be happy. His live everyday philosophy encourages us all to live our life to the full, which I really appreciate. It challenges me to be a better person every day. He has a wicked sense of humour that sometimes gets him and I into trouble, but I love that we laugh so much together. I really admire his constant drive to be better and to try new things, whether that be reading up on leadership skills, branching out into charity auctioneering, writing a new book, or seeking out new ideas for the business. He's always seeking to challenge himself. So, Mr. B, you are an amazing husband, a loving father, and a great friend. But most of all, you're a precious gem that everyone is grateful to have in their lives. Love you. Bye for now, guys.
Oh, blimey. Thank you, wifey.
Now, nobody can see you at the moment,
No,
but you
thankfully.
have teared up.
I have.
Aww.
However, my children do say that I cry to Frozen, the film, so it doesn't take much. But yeah.
That is Zoe's message to you.
Aww.
I know, it's so sweet.
It is sweet.
You're making
yeah.
me tear up. Stop it.
I'm so sorry. Yeah, I'm okay. I'm all good. I'm all good.
So not only that, we also have a message from your dad, Pete.
Okay.
Unfortunately, I'm going to read this one. I don't know what accent your dad has.
Pompey accent. So don't pronounce any T's or H's.
Oh, no, it's going to be in a Scottish
It's going to
accent.
be. Do you know what? That'll sound okay.
So he says, what can I say about my son? From the day that he was born weighing 5 pounds 14 ounces to sitting on my shoulders at Frayton Park, aged 5. Play up Pompey.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I'm a Portsmouth supporter.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, Pompey is a nickname.
All right, got you, because I didn't know what that meant. To running your own business, you've always tried to treat everyone with kindness and respect. You always thank the dance crew because you know that without them, your ideas and dreams wouldn't work. Your knowledge of life is astounding, and you always try to look at all the aspects of your projects for the day. You must have helped thousands of people in the dance world, yet still kept your own down-to-earth attitude. One of these days, I will beat you at your many sports you play, whether it's football, golf, badminton, tennis or cricket. You seem to have a knack for being good at everything. Thank you for being you, sharing and caring, and to all of your friends and family, love you tons, Dad.
Do you know what the really annoying thing is that, so I'm not bad at golf and he's never been great at golf. And he now plays golf 3 times a week and I play golf a few times a year. and the last time we played, he did beat me. And he turns 70 next month, and I'm playing golf with him later this month, down with Mike and Steve, at his course, and I know for certain that the chance of me winning that is
He's
pretty
gonna whoop
slim.
your butt.
I think he is going to whoop my butt, indeed so. It's time for some music, Sarah. So I've chosen a number of tracks today. True Desert Island Discs moment.
Okay.
And I've chosen this one because it's the wife's favourite song.
Oh.
So yeah, here we go. Bit of Whitney.
Oh, I love a bit of Whitney.
Back with me and Sarah very shortly. For part two, then, it's all about me today. It sounds weird. It still sounds weird. So it's Richard Beauvoisin here right until midday today. Sarah Wheadon is my guest stroke interviewer today.
Technically, you're the guest.
Technically, I'm the guest on my own show, which I still find weird, but let's move on from that fact. Sarah, what's next?
So, we have a couple of questions that came in.
Okay.
So we had a question from Helen, who asked, how did you and Zoe meet?
Okay, so Zoe came along dancing as a normal punter. I remember that very well. And she, after a while, became a crew member to a taxi dancer. And then after a while, she was on stage as a demo. And then we then put her forward for her teacher training. She became a teacher. And then a while after that, we decided to compete together, and we competed together. And then after that, love blossomed.
Aww.
So that's how it was.
Love is in
Literally,
the air.
strictly time.
It was the Strictly curse.
It was the Strictly curse a little bit, yeah. So that's how we met. I remember her passing with her friend, who was also a very good dancer. We don't see dancing anymore. And I was chatting to somebody on the front desk as they left, and one of them had spoken to us saying, they'd like to join the crew. And I was like, they're really good, but actually the other one, Zoe, I think they're the actual star. And I remember saying that at that time. I know, it's a really bit sad, but yeah, and she is a star. She's an inspiration, dancing wise and everything else wise, to so many people. All of the follow techniques that I teach basically is Zoe's dancing. I just watch what she does, analyse it, break it down, and then teach it and make it sound like I know what I'm talking about. But it's all her.
So she's the link. She's the linchpin.
She's definitely the glue that holds everything together, that's for sure. Yeah, I go off and do all of my wonderful things that I'm able to do, and she is definitely the one that sticks everything together. Oh, that's for sure.
Go Zoe.
Indeed.
Okay, so then Caroline has emailed in and she says, ancestry, French roots, presumably.
Yeah.
And do you live up to your name, good or beautiful neighbour?
I think I'm an okay neighbour. Yeah, I put the bins out, I take the bins away. So I think neighbourhood-wise, I actually interview one of my neighbours, who I'll do again later this year, Richard, who lives opposite me. He's a cricket umpire. And we have a Ask the Umpire section every year during the cricket summer season. So I'll definitely get him back in July to do that, which I love doing. The only downside that we've got in our little part of our street at the moment is that our neighbour on our right-hand side and Richard directly opposite, and the other neighbours that are opposite, they've all just bought brand new Mercedes. And I have to say, my Mazda isn't looking quite up to scratch compared to everybody else. So yeah, that's a little bit weird. But there we go. I'm not going to keep up with the Joneses. I can't afford a Merc.
No,
I really can't. But going back to the ancestry, yeah. So our family came over in the 1600s, and I'm originally from Portsmouth. But yeah, that's because my grandfather joined the Navy. He's actually a Geordie, and our family history before that is mainly in Sheffield. So I am 2 generations ago, I'm a northerner, but I'm from as far south as you can get for me personally. So
you say came over from where?
France.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, they were French. I believe they were quite high French people. Not that I'm high in any way, shape or form. I didn't know until the age of 21 there was a difference between the th sound and the th sound. So I used to say free, as in F-R-E-E, for the number 3. I didn't even know it existed. So yeah, I'm anything but posh. He says in the poshest voice in the world.
What?
My RP voice.
You must be mistaken.
Yeah. But it's only because I used to do hospital radio when I was 18 to 21, and I used to listen back to all of my shows, and it wasn't until I started listening back to my voice I was like, I don't actually like my voice very much. And I started to learn how to speak slower, how to pronounce my words better, and that's where I kind of learned how to speak and present, which is effectively what I do for a living now. I present in lots and lots of different formats.
Well, that's on to our next part. So we've talked a bit about who you are.
Yeah.
But I'm interested to find out about where how did you get to where you are now? What has happened to Richard B to get him to this point?
Okay, I'm going to very quickly. So I'm releasing a book in a few months' time. I'm going to put that out there. I know, it's called Who Are You to Give Me Advice?
Okay.
So I've given advice for the last 25 years or so to lots of different people in lots of different ways. And I'm kind of feel restricted that it's a very small amount of people, and I feel like I've got some half decent advice to give to people because they always seem to take it and go, oh, that's a really good idea. So I'm writing a book about it, and in the book I do tell a little bit about my story as well. It's only a short book, it's only about 100 pages. It's currently being edited, and yeah, so my story is that I left college where I did business studies, learning how to run a business. I then ran a business with my father-in-law. After a few years of doing that, I'll make this a short version, by the way. After a few years of doing that, I went to the job centre. I went in to go in as an RAF. Go in as the RAF. People always say, why did you choose the RAF? You're from Portsmouth. Why didn't you choose the Navy? So the basic principle is that I didn't want to join the Army because I didn't want to die.
Yeah.
I didn't want to join the Navy because you spend a lot of time away at sea. So that left the RAF. I went to join in as a physical and training instructor because I wanted to keep in shape. Horrifically failed at that because I trained in swimming and they wanted runners. I was in a fantastic shape. I had a full six-pack, as I do now.
Wowzers.
And not quite the six-pack just yet. And yeah, so I went in as an engineer because they paid me more money. So I spent 6.5 years as an engineer. I then came out and I had to leave at some point. So I did a sales job, being a sales manager for 3 years as well. All the time doing this, so I was being a dance teacher as well. And then at the age of 31, I turned around to my wife at the time, wife number 2, and I decided that, now's the time to give up the good job that I have and be a dance teacher and franchisee full time. So that's then, at the age of 31, I started in Oxford running my own dance franchise at that point. And then from there, it's kind of blossomed. The business has grown. I've shrunk it down because it got too much. And we're currently in a nice state, I'd suggest.
So how do you go from something that's quite a male-dominated environment in terms of the RAF side of things to dance?
So I went along to Chippenham. This is how I started dancing. Okay, so this is going to sound terrible. Wife number 1.
Richard, for somebody who doesn't like cake,
I know.
You've done quite a bit of wedding cake.
And I never ate wedding cake at all. In fact, actually, for last wedding, I'm going to call it that, okay?
Their last.
My last wedding that I had, and it's going to be the last wedding that I have. I'm now married to my forever wife.
Thank you.
That's not wife number 3, because it makes it sound like there's a wife number 4. So yeah, she went along and saw in Chippenham they were doing a busk. So they were dancing in the street and handing out flyers. Say, we dance at the Gold Diggers nightclub in Chippenham, which no longer exists.
No.
It's now the Gold Diggers Old People's Home. It's generally what it's called, in the same place. And I went along and learned how to dance same as everybody else. Got hooked. Spent I used to go 6 nights a week.
Wow.
Yeah, loved it. So, and I'd go back to the RAF, and while everybody else was going out getting drunk, I would literally go out dancing every night. So yeah, it was great. And that's how I learned how to dance. And then after a short period, I did my qualifications, and I've taught dance ever since.
That's amazing.
I love it.
Just a passion that's come to now being your business.
So the sad way regarding the dancing part of it is that when I watched Dirty Dancing at the age of 14/15 in the mid-80s, I wanted to be Patrick Swayze. He was my hero.
Not Jennifer Grey.
Not Jennifer Grey, no, but I have carried watermelons. I have seen that film a few times. So the fact that I now actually get to be a version of Patrick Swayze, and a live one, I'd like to point out, is sadly passed away.
Yeah.
Is just literally a dream come true for me. The downside is that I have turned 50 and I've had more injuries in the last 2 years than I've had in the previous 48. So my body is starting to say you can't keep up the pace you're currently doing. So I have had to back away from the front line of the business a little bit. But there we go. That's life. It really is. Now you do have another audio thing as well, don't you?
I do.
We're nearing the end of this bit. This one's a much shorter one.
It is a much shorter one, yes.
Okay.
Okay, so this is a little message from your mama.
Okay.
So if you want to have a little play.
I will play. This is a very short message. Let's see what my mum has to say then. Here we go.
Hi Richard, just want to say how proud I am of you with your career choices and everything you have achieved in life. I know you'll keep being amazing. Love, Mum.
Aww. That's the most I've got out of my mum in ages.
What's your mum's name?
My mum's name is Carol.
Carol, thank you for that message, Carol.
Yes. Now, my mum isn't one for the phone, so the fact that you've got that message out for her is quite amazing. In fact, in the last 20 years, I've only ever had, apart from birth, she does call me on my birthday, okay, which is nice. But apart from that, I've only ever had one phone call from her, and that's when she misdialed my sister. Bless her.
Oh, you're not the favourite either.
I can't comment on that. I really can't.
Bless, Carol. Well, thank you for that.
Yeah, thank you,
Carol.
Mum. That's very nice.
That is lovely. I wonder if you would also like to hear a little message from your son William.
Oh, go on then.
Well, rather not here, but I'm going to read it to you.
Please do.
Okay. So he says, "Hi, Dad. It's me, your eldest and most favourite child. I just wanted to let you know that I love you so very much." Oh, you're tearing up.
Going again?
Oh,
dear.
Richard, I've got hankies. You want a hanky?
No, I'm all right. I'll just use my sleeve. You carry on.
Bless you.
I told you I cry at Frozen.
Oh.
Sorry, you carry on.
But so what was interesting is I thought I was going to get that as a little clip to play.
Yeah.
But no, he went old school.
He did?
Yeah.
Yeah, that doesn't surprise me.
So tell me, you've got 3 children.
4.
Oh, 4 children.
4 children, yes.
Wowzers. Okay. So what ages are we ranging?
So the eldest, Will, is 21. The next one is Izzy, and she is 19 at the moment. I get confused sometimes. It's just when the birthdays are. And Eva, who turns 18 next month. Eva we'll see on the front door at our venues at Melksham and Bath as well. And then I've got Beatrice, who is, and they were all from wedding number 2 or marriage number 2. And then I have Beatrice, who is Zoe's, and she is 9.
So the final wives.
The forever wives, yes.
Bless you.
I know. So that is my 4 children, and that's all they're ever going to be.
You're not planning on moving that number up then?
I am not indeed in any way, shape or form. It's time for more music.
All right then.
So yeah. Strangely, I've chosen all the tracks. I'm not quite sure why I chose this one, but...
Have we got any Dirty Dancing coming up?
We haven't yet, but we could do. That would be nice, wouldn't it? Yeah. I should play Dirty Dancing, but yeah, I weirdly chose this one. Not quite sure why I chose Sharp Dressed Man, but there we go. Back now is part 3, Scaringly with me.
Where has that gone?
I know. It flies by. Every 2 hours, the guests always say, oh, it's at that time already. It really is that time already. So today, very strangely, the show is I Am the Guest, and Sarah Wheadon, celebrant, not celebrant, is my interviewer. If you do have any questions, strangely for me, email studio@radiobars.com, or you can post on the Facebook message that I sent out earlier this morning. Sarah, it's back to you. What's next?
So, the last time I was here, everybody kept sending lovely messages to me.
Yeah.
And you kept saying nobody was giving anything back for you.
That's true.
So today is all about you.
Oh.
It's all about you, my friend.
Okay.
So if you could play the next audio clip for me.
Okay, so this is Ben B, who's on
is Ben
next week,
B.
I think, isn't he? So, yeah, here we go.
Hey Richard, it's Ben. I just wanted to take a moment to say how much I appreciate and have enjoyed your dance classes over the last year. You've been a huge inspiration to me, and I've learned so much, largely thanks to you. I've also really enjoyed our series of radio interviews, and I'm really looking forward to the next one. Of course, I'll never forget our Hamilton karaoke session at Swish, possibly the only time I've seen you look nervous. I've only known you for a year or so, but in that time, I've come to consider you a mentor and, more importantly, a good friend. Oh, and before I get too soppy, can you guess what I used to draft this message?
So Ben is our AI expert. So that's what he used, wasn't it? Yeah, bless him. So he's on next week. We're talking about electric vehicles next week.
Ooh.
Looking forward to that. So yeah, no, Ben's done very well. He started back in November 23, I think it was. And he's very similar in character to me. And, he also went 6 times a week when he first started.
Did he really?
He did, yeah. He's backed it off a little bit now due to, well, Ben, you're getting old and your knees are getting knackered. So, but no, he's really interesting person. And I was absolutely shaking like a leaf so this is at the Swish Weekend where we did welly wanging, and we were going to go and do some shooting, because it's one of the other activities, and the shooting kind of got waylaid because it was taking too long. So we said, well, let's go and do the karaoke instead. And the night before, they have a theatre show there. And one of the artists, they were doing musicals, and they did Hamilton, You'll Be Back, and both myself and Ben were just there singing along with it. And then the following day at midday, there we were up singing away to it. And I have to say, Ben's got a very good voice, and mine was okay. But yeah, I was absolutely shaking like a leaf. There was one point I was holding onto the microphone, and I had to actually plaster it to my chin because it was shaking so much. I got really, really nervous. I did all my breathing techniques, and I was still really nervous. So
now that's interesting, because that nervousness is not something that I ever get from you.
No, that's largely because everything you see me doing, I've done a million times before. So I feel quite in control. So therefore, no need to be nervous, except today.
So that leads me on to the next part then.
Go on then.
There are various elements of things that you do. You've mentioned a couple of things. Everybody knows you as the dancer. Everybody knows you as the radio DJ. What other elements are there to Richard B?
So what else do I do? Well, work-wise as such, I kind of call them work, but they're not really work. So as I mentioned earlier, I'm in the process of writing a book, which I'm really excited about doing. It's something which has taken about 7 months so far to do the first edit. There's going to be a second book as well, hopefully, if the first one goes okay. Ooh. So the first one's called Who Are You to Give Me Advice? Uh-huh. The second one's planned to be called Who Are You to Give Me More Advice? And the third one, if ever I get to that part, is going to be Who Are You to Give Me Yet More Advice? So I'm really enjoying writing the book and editing it. Laura's my editor, she sent back the first bit, and I was like, oh, I do need to rewrite that. So I've loved doing that. Yeah. I've recently got into charity auctioneering as well. Mm-hmm. For those that don't know what that is that generally there's a dinner, and then everybody goes along knowing there's a charity auction, and you have about 8 lots or so which you try and sell. And as the auctioneer, you try and go round the room and get as much money out of everybody as you can to raise it for charity. Johnny Gould, who's a co-presenter or presenter on Radio Bath as well, he's my mentor. He's a fantastic auctioneer. He just did a gig recently where I think that he raised £18 million in one night. So he is a slightly bigger star and a bigger fish in the auctioneering world, but he's been incredibly generous with his time and his advice, so big thanks to Johnny for that one, because it's it's a very strange thing. The last gig I did was at the Bath Guild Hall, and I'm standing up there going, how did I get here doing that?
So how do you get there?
How do I get there? I say yes. Now, again, my lovely wife, who did a nice message earlier, she sometimes gets very like, why are you saying yes to everything? I'm like, well, you never know where it's going to take you. How did I get to be on Radio Bath? How did I get to interview Chesney Hawkes? I've got Russell Watson and Helen Jane Long coming up in a couple of weeks' time, who are enormous stars. Helen Jane Long's had 1 billion downloads of her music. I've never heard of her, but she's apparently a really big star. Russell Watson I have heard of. So, I just simply say yes to all of these things. And I love doing it. The podcast, there's not just the Radio Bath podcast I've done. I used to interview Sorok teachers back in the day. During lockdown, we did a weekly kind of show, myself and Zoe. We used to sit in front of the camera. We had no idea what we were going to talk about. Open up the Zoom link so everybody could then watch. And we broadcast live for about an hour. And we've had so many people say to us that during lockdown, that's one of the things that kept them going. Every Thursday that we were going to do this show. And we didn't really have any idea the impact it was having on people. But I still get people now commenting about it.
Yeah.
So yeah, just saying yes. Even though I sometimes go, I don't know what I'm going to be able to do or how I'm going to be able to do it. So that's kind of what I do.
So do you feel like you have like a facade where people think you're confident, but actually underneath it all, you're like the swan?
Yes and no, really. In a lot of the things I do, I am the expert in the room, I suppose. So sitting here in this radio station, I know what I'm doing. I've done this for a long time. Being a dance teacher, I know what I'm doing. Charity auctioneering, I research. If I don't know what I'm doing, then I find out. People like Johnny, for instance, for doing charity auctioneering, again, he's very kind with his time, and I find out what to do. You then learn by your experiences, of course you do, and you make them better the next time you do it. But I try and just kind of research what I'm going to do and go for it. That's my basic plan. Yeah.
So you mentioned earlier, people have become mentors. So do you have pivotal mentors in your life?
Do I have pivotal mentors in my life? I go back to actually the RAF. There was one chap in there called Lee Warren, his name was. I'll give him a shout out now. Wazzer. Yeah, literally it was called Wazzer. I remember, I talk about the RAF. I don't talk about it very often, actually. And it was an important time in my life. I was 21 to 28 when I was in the RAF. I spent long enough in there to know what it's all about, but not too long to be militarised, as we used to say. And it's a really strange relationship you have with people in the RAF, because there's certain ones in there that you genuinely would die for. And he was one of those people that, if he was in front of me, I would have stood in front of him for a bullet. And there's very few people you would think about that being. I don't think he ever quite realised how important he was. But he showed me that to go for it, definitely. And the thing that I always remember from him is I made mistakes, quite a lot of them, and he was kind of my boss as such. And the way he dealt with my mistakes definitely had an impact on how I then deal with everybody else's mistakes. Because it wasn't literally shouted at me, hauled me over the coals. He used it as a learning lesson. And that, for me, I thought was a brilliant way of doing it, because, nobody had died in the mistakes that I'd made, thankfully.
Yeah.
But I was able to kind of take on board his way of doing that. And I knew that from that moment, I did not want to make a mistake again, not for me necessarily, but also for him, because I didn't want to let him down. The good old classic parent thing of, I'm not angry, I'm disappointed in you. And he used that tactic. And it worked really, really well for me personally.
Yeah.
And I know for everybody else, when we're going to do lots of group things and stuff, that everybody you want to shine for your teacher, and I'm blessed to be a teacher of a lot of people, so
yeah,
he was definitely a key part in my life.
Oh, good old Wazzer.
And obviously parents and family and all of that. Wives.
And do you still keep in touch with Wazzer?
Very rarely, actually. No, we have the odd message on Facebook and stuff, but our lives have kind of gone in different directions. Last time I heard, I haven't spoken to him for a year or so, he was still in as a warrant officer, which is the top rank of the non-commissioned officers, and I left in 2003. So yeah, he's still going, I think.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, my advice would be drop him a wee message and tell him how important in your life
I
he
will
was.
do.
Yeah.
I will do when we go into our next bit, which is fine. Got a couple of minutes till the news.
Have we got a next? Okay, good.
Yeah,
Okay. So I wanted to just pass on, as I say, this is all about you. So feedback again from somebody, our lovely Bill.
Okay. Bless Bill.
Yeah.
Bless
I love
him.
Bill. Bill says, I appreciate your care and understanding that you've given me in the private dance lessons that I have each week. It has resulted in several followers telling me how much I have improved. A massive thank you, Bill.
Oh, do you know what? Bill is an inspiration to me. I have told him this. So Bill is, he lost his wife a few years ago and he started dancing, and it was kind of like his way of, he does Sorok dancing, he does tango dancing. And next month we've got our Chill Out Champs, our competition, and he is going to enter as a newcomer. and he got his hoodie last night, which I was so pleased for him. The hoodies are what we call Live to Dance hoodies, and you can only get them if you are dancing in our area and you are competing, basically, as a principal, or you come into my studio as well. And he is going to be competing with Jackie for the first time next month, and by that point, and he won't mind me saying, and if he does, then it's too late anyway, he turns 77.
Does he?
He turns 77 just before the competition, and he's going to be competing for the first time. So when I have people turn around to me and say, I'm too old to do X, Y, and Z, I always think about Bill, because he is absolutely an inspiration to me.
And he was so chuffed with his hoodie yesterday.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was like, wear that with a swagger, Bill.
Yeah, no, it's fantastic. And, you know, dancing is inclusive. It's for everybody. It doesn't matter what age you are. Competing is for everybody. And, yeah, I think he's showing the way to a lot of people that kind of go, oh, I've turned X, Y, and Z age. I can't do this anymore. Now, I know I mentioned earlier that I've turned 50 and, I'm having to kind of step back a little bit from the full front line. But that's purely because my body is not, quite what it used to be. It's not my attitude. I'd love to carry on. But life is such, and I will carry on for a number of years yet. Don't worry, I'm not going anywhere.
I know, that sounded like you were about to give it all up.
No. I'm still here. I am still here. Talking about being here, though, I'm going to be here till midday today. Any questions? studio@radiobath.com, or you can text Bath followed by a message to 80011. It's time for the news. We are back. There's You've Got the Love by Candy Staton. It's Richard Beauvoisin here right until midday today. My guest today on my Story to Tell show is weirdly me. I've got the lovely Sarah Wheadon interviewing me, sat on the opposite side of the desk. It's very strange. I don't know what's going to happen. I really don't. Any questions, email studio@radiobath.com, or you can send me a message. I've just had a message. Oh no, that's something else. That's all good. It's a guest that's going to come on my show. A live lounge guest, or live sessions guest. I'm not allowed to say live lounge. BBC has a copyright for it. So yeah, that's going to be the end of the month.
Wash your mouth out.
I have done indeed. Anyway, Sarah, it's back to you. So what's going on?
So following on from that song, You've Got the Love. I've got some other love to send your way.
Okay.
Mr. B. So I have a message from Dot.
Remind everybody who Dot is.
Dot is my mum. I lovingly call her the Tweedy Old Craw.
Do you?
Yes.
I love her to bits.
Mama Bear. So she says, Richard, you are quite simply amazing. You have a way of energising a room and making everyone in it feel like they belong. A real skill that I have benefited from on many occasions over the 18 years I have known you. You make me feel like I am the best dancer in the room, which I am not. But my mood is always improved just by being around you. Love you to bits. You're my favourite.
Oh, that's very kind. I love your mum to bits as well. So, yeah. She's lovely, isn't she?
She is lovely.
Yeah.
I'm biased, though.
You are biased, so am I. But yeah, everybody loves Dot.
Well, I love her big style.
That's very kind, Dot. Thank you very much. And, you mean the world to me as well. So.
Oh, you tearing up again?
I'm going again.
Mum, you made him cry.
There you go.
Okay, so we have a question.
Yeah, go on.
We were talking about the radio DJing piece, and we have a question from Zoe, and she says, how do you maintain such a sexy voice? Do you gargle, exercise? What's your secret?
What's my secret to my voice? Yeah,
your sexy voice.
My sexy voice.
You're actually going red.
How do you answer that question?
How do you? Blimey. I want to know.
Yeah. I suppose one of the things I try and do, because I present for a living, is effectively what I do. Whether it's on the radio, when I'm teaching dancing, obviously I'm using my voice there. On the podcast, I do the same. Even when I'm kind of authoring, it's still my voice in my head. So what do? I try and keep hydrated as much as I possibly can. He says, having coffee next to him. But I've now stopped drinking coffee from 1 o'clock in the afternoon. So I said this a while ago on the radio that I was struggling to drink water because I find it really, really boring. So I now use an Air Up bottle, which has a smell at the top of the bottle.
Oh, yeah.
And I have sparkling water in there, which I know isn't quite as good as normal water, apparently, but it's still better than not drinking water or just drinking coffee. So I try and keep as hydrated as I can. And quite often it's about warming your voice up a little bit. So literally on the way in, I'm doing the and all sorts of weird and wonderful things. to warm your voice up. The same as you'd warm up any muscle that you were going to do exercise with in regarding sport. You would warm up your thigh muscles and stuff. So I do the same with my voice.
Yeah, as a trainer and a learning development person, that's exactly what I do as well.
Right.
You have to do your yes, la 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 la.
Now, you were talking about the fact that you did a funeral and that you were too close to the microphone and you were singing the hymns and you said your singing voice was terrible. That sounded okay. That was in tune.
No, it was bad.
You can hold a tune.
Well, I'll let you watch the recording and then you can decide.
That's fair enough.
Yeah.
Okay. Go on.
I've now decided that I have to step off the podium and away from the mic when it comes to that. So I am. I'm going to move on.
Okay.
I'm going to move us on to the next sort of part of my investigation of who Richard B is. And we were talking earlier about the fact that your autism has kicked in a bit today.
Yeah.
Because you're not in control. You're not in charge.
Yeah. A lot of people don't even know I'm autistic.
Okay. So tell us a bit more about what it's like to be neurodiverse.
What is it like? It's something which I didn't know until I was in my mid-30s. So my eldest, he was being diagnosed for autism. And at the same time as that, I did all of the same tests that he was doing. So that kind of just to see, really.
Yeah.
And we worked it out that I was higher up the spectrum than he was. And he very much got diagnosed. And so I didn't need to kind of go get anything officially done. What's it like? If you're in control, for me personally, that's fine. It's when I'm out of control or something different happens, that's when I would struggle quite dramatically. People often say to me regarding the dance world, it's such a social thing. How do you cope with social situations? Because the main thing about autism is that you struggle in social situations.
Yeah.
That's one of the things that I struggle with personally. And there's a great phrase when I did an autism course many years ago. They started off the course with saying, when you've met one autistic person, you've met one autistic person.
Yeah.
Everybody is different.
Yeah.
And yes, it's kind of this big brand of autism. There used to be Asperger's syndrome as well, which has now been removed. You're either autistic or you're not autistic. And, I looked at it and thought, right, well, I definitely am autistic. And regarding the dancing, they say it's so social. And I'm like, well, let's actually look at what happens. So when I'm at home all day, I'm either teaching one-to-one where I'm in control, I'm the expert in the room, so I'm fine with that, and that's a one-to-one basis, or I'm working in the office by myself. I travel to the dance venues by myself. When I'm setting up, there might be the odd occasional chat with somebody.
And a hug.
But in the main, you're kind of setting up, not really talking to anybody. I'm then on stage. I'm then going into my stage personality, which I'm very comfortable with. I've done it for over a quarter of a decade now. So I find that very, very comfortable. I'm then dancing with people, and the last thing people want to do when they're dancing with me is have a chat, because normally they're either scared or want to concentrate because they're dancing with the teacher. At the end of the night, I say goodbye to everybody. I then pack down, and then I drive home by myself. So people say it's a really social aspect, and there are social parts of it, of course there are. But actually, in the main, not so much. Ooh, I think that was a car driving past. Just to let anybody else know if you did hear something strange there.
It was neither of us.
It was neither of us, indeed not. So regarding the dancing side, it isn't actually that social for me. I am the classic person, if we went to a party, I would be the one sitting in the corner going, how long do I have to stay here for? In fact, I went to a house party a few months ago, and I worked out it was the first house party I'd been to. Period.
Really?
That's it. I'd never been to one before.
Wow.
Why? Because I choose not to be at them. Chris Packham, who's a presenter, he's very well known for being autistic, and his daughter said to him, will you come to my graduation ceremony? And he went, no. Why would I go to that? She went, it's me, Dad. And he's like, but there's people there. And I'd have to talk to them, and it was just too much for him. And I can absolutely understand that. Now, I am quite comfortable with talking to people. I've learnt skills since, I kind of realised I was autistic. I've learnt those skills of how to talk to people and what to say and how to make it polite. And I've realised, again, something that's in my book is I have a title of What's Everybody's Favourite Topic? So do you know what everybody's favourite topic is, Sarah?
Money.
Themselves.
Dashed.
he says, having a programme about himself.
With the biggest smile.
But it really is. So I've learnt the skill. If anybody asks me anything, I will answer it, but then I'll very quickly ask them about themselves.
Deflect.
And then they start talking, and then I don't have to. Because I find it difficult. Staring at you right now, I'm able to do it.
Oh, okay.
Which is fine. But staring at somebody's eyes is literally nails down a blackboard for me, which when dancing is a nightmare. And therefore, quite often, this is one of the worst scenarios that we have when we go to dance weekenders. We go to a dance weekender, there's 1,000 people there. Myself and Zoe, my wife, we are two of the teachers. So therefore, everybody knows who we are.
Yes.
Which is fine. It's a kind of a weird mini fame in lots of ways. Now, I'm often at the very beginning when we go there, I can't see very well. I don't wear my glasses at that point because I don't wear them that often unless I'm driving. So I can't really see anybody from a distance. And I have my wife saying to me, this is X person, this is that person. Because the other reason for it is that very rarely do I actually look at anybody's face. So therefore, when they walk up to me, I have no idea who they are half the time because I don't look at people's faces. If they're wearing the same clothing, I'm all good with that. I can memorise people's clothing to the nth degree. But if they've changed outfits, it's a nightmare.
It's really interesting you say that because I don't look at people's eyes either. I look at their chin.
Yeah, chin or ear is the tip. Yeah. So if you do feel uncomfortable looking at somebody's eyes, he says, staring deep into your eyes right now. Then look into their chin or their ear and it's close enough. But that's quite often why I'm looking down. I remember somebody saying to me once, somebody else I know who's autistic, they turned around to me and went, they are so rude. I went, what do you mean they're rude? I said, they never look at me. They're like looking up to the ceiling, looking anywhere else but me. And I said, you do know they're autistic, don't you? And they went, what does that mean? And this is, a number of years ago. Yeah. But they genuinely thought they were being rude because they weren't looking at them in their eyes. But for an autistic person, again, when you've met one autistic person, you've met one autistic person, but it's quite a common trait. It's really uncomfortable for autistic people to stare at somebody in the face. So it's difficult.
It is really interesting, I think, as well, in terms of the way that we all think differently. So what would you say is your biggest asset?
My biggest asset, I think, is a lot of the time clarity of thought. So I can really see scenarios very, very quickly. Again, being autistic means that, again, it's not necessarily the case for everybody, but apparently when I had my IQ checked a number of years ago, apparently it was reasonably good.
You've been modest.
Let's move on. So in that aspect, I can see things incredibly quickly. In the EQ part, though, the emotional intelligence, emotional intelligence, not so much in lots of ways. In some ways, but then in other ways, I've had to learn those skills because I didn't have those skills at all. I look back, probably the hardest thing for me is I wish I'd have known when I was younger that I was autistic because my life would have been very, very different. I remember being at big dinner tables when I was doing the sales job. And we were at a sales award where I'd won an award and it was all good. And I look back now and I think how I was acting in those scenarios because I had absolutely no idea social etiquette. Hadn't really been trained how to do it. Grew up in a very poor council area. So kind of going to a posh social setting was as far out of my realm of expertise as possible. And I look back horrified. I really do. I wish I could go back there now and kind of go, right, this is actually now my learnt skills. So emotional intelligence, I now have better purely because I've learnt it, but it's definitely not a natural skill.
Emotional intelligence is such a major thing. I think that there's a lot of people in this world are lacking knowledge of emotional intelligence, let alone a smidgen of it themselves.
Whether you are neurodiverse or atypical, whatever it may be, it's an area that everybody can study and get better at. Absolutely, and understanding other people. It's time for some more music.
No, I'm not finished.
I know, we're going to have to break those. That's time. I've chosen this one. It's actually a song that I love to dance to. So,
fabulous.
Tastes like strawberries on a summer evening, and it sounds just like a song. I want more berries and that summer feeling. It's so wonderful and warm. Breathe me in, breathe me out. I don't know if I could ever go without. I'm just thinking
There's Alanis Morissette, hand in my pocket, another choice of my guest, me.
I like that song as well.
It's a lovely song. I saw her in Hyde Park many, many years ago, along with The Who and Bob Dylan as well.
Wow.
This is
a combo.
There was about 250,000 people there in Hyde Park, and it was a long time ago. And she was brilliant. The Who were interesting as when they did Quadrophenia, and Bob Dylan couldn't sing in the day, still couldn't sing then, still can't sing now. But he writes great songs.
Controversial.
I know. He's never been known as a great singer, let's face it. Just very quickly, so for those who aren't aware, my guest today is me. It's a really weird show. Sarah Wheadon is here interviewing me. It's been requested, so that's why we're doing it. People want to know a little bit more about me, which is fine. I don't mind doing that. Now, just before the break, we were talking about me being autistic, which is absolutely fine. And I've no problem about people knowing that I am autistic. What I'd always say to anybody that has anything that is slightly different about them compared to whatever normal is that...
Alleged normal
is that you should never let it define you. I listened to a great interview with Sue Perkins from Mel and Sue, the presenters, and she was doing Desert Island Discs, and it wasn't until the 8th disc, which is the last disc, that they spoke about the fact that she was gay. And she was like, well, yes, I am gay. She said, but I reckon there's about 180 things that are far more interesting about me.
Yeah.
Apart from being gay. Gay's probably number 181, so I don't really talk about it that much. And likewise, I don't talk about autism that much because for me, it's not that important to me. I am autistic and I have to deal with it. But for me, I think there's far more interesting things about me that I can talk about.
Yeah, so. I agree. I absolutely agree. I think that to be defined by something, I'm Sarah, I'm fat. There's 180 different things that I can tell you about me that's far more interesting.
Absolutely. Whatever weight anybody is irrelevant. It really is. Anyway, back to me. Come on.
Yes, back to you. Back to you. I forgot what we were doing. So in this section, what we're going to do is we got some questions in from the audience.
Okay.
So I went out to our tribe and asked if anybody had any specific questions that they would like to ask you.
Sure.
So here we go. So Andy asks, where do you see Sorok going in the future?
Really good question. I've been around Sorok now for 27 years or so. And in that time, I've seen it change quite dramatically. And it often depends on what's influencing it at the time. So when I first started, Lindy Hop, a dance, was really influencing it. So Sorok as a dance is a fusion of all dances. So it kind of, whatever's in fashion gets kind of promoted much more. Okay. So it's gone from kind of Lindy Hop, salsa was quite influential at one point, tango became influential at one point. The current influencing is West Coast swing. Which is kind of the style of dance that Sorok is merging into without some of the footwork, effectively. And that's where I see it going into. I remember back in the day, in 2009, I remember competing, and they said, this is your slow track, and it was 112 beats per minute. We now class a slow track as about 90 to 85 beats per minute, and our faster tracks are 112 beats per minute. So that's kind of how the scene has changed. It's all got much slower, and therefore giving you more time to do kind of more intricate dancing and more impressive dancing. I think in our area, due to the teachers that we've got and the influence that we have in this area, I think we're probably a few years ahead of the rest of the country. The rest of the country is still quite boom, 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 let's go for it. We are much slower in this part. And I think in some ways we are influencing other parts of the country to kind of join that way of doing it. So I can see Sorok getting slower, not any slower than it currently is, I don't think. And just people enjoying it and becoming better dancers. I think in the past it's been really big numbers but very poor dancers. I think we're now trying to get the balance right between having lots of numbers still but much better dancers is what I would love it to go to.
Well, whilst we're on the subject of better dancers, Louise says, what's your top tip for improving yours and other dance styles and techniques to be able to progress from intermediate level to advanced?
Very simple 4 words. Listen to the music.
Oh, I thought you were going to say practice.
No. But it's all about what are you practicing. If you're just practicing doing moves that don't fit, then it doesn't really matter. I saw actually a couple last night dancing, and they did a move, and it was a fantastic move. It really was. Had absolutely nothing to do with the music. So, I judge as well. We're off to Bali next month to judge an international jive competition, which is fantastic. And if I saw a couple doing a great move that had nothing to do with the music, it would get literally 0 marks from me.
Oh, harsh.
No, I am harsh. I am the Simon Cowell of the dance world in some ways.
I didn't like it.
I loved it. So yeah, listen to the music. Let the music tell you what to do. I often use this phrase, is that when we are dancing, we are actors, and the director is the music. And it's not that the leader is in charge or the follower is in charge. Actually, the music is the thing that's in charge. If you listen to the music and let it tell you what to do, then that's the great thing. People then often say to me, though, but I don't know what to do. That's where you go to lessons. I have a lot of people that just go to freestyles now and wonder why they're stagnant in their dancing and still doing the same dance. Well, get back to lessons. That's where you learn stuff. And us as teachers, we're driven to try and teach you new things, new techniques all the time, which are actually going to help your dancing and make you go up into that next level. So get back to lessons. But yeah, listen to the music.
Okay. Well, whilst we're on the subject of the judgy part, Gabriel says, what do judges look for when assessing lead and followers, dance partners in dance competitions?
Okay, so we generally look for what we call our 4 pillars. If you want to have a little chuckle as well, I might send it out again, but last year for the Welsh Champs where we were judging, we had to do a little video, which we did while we were over in Spain, about what the judges are looking for. And we did a little introduction, but we kept mucking it up.
Yeah, I saw that.
And it's like, and the 4 pillars are... And then we'd get through part of it. So I'll try and repost that video for people if you want to have a watch of that. It's quite an amusing time. We just couldn't get it out there. But there we go. The 4 pillars are generally and for us, these are each worth about 25%. So move content. Are you doing interesting moves? Musicality. Is it in time with the music? Are you trying to fit those moves to the music? Dance quality. Have you got your feet turned out? Are you straightening your leg? Is your head up? Are your shoulders down? All of these types of things. And then the last one is connection and conversation. Are you effectively dancing by yourself, or are you actually dancing as a partnership? Or is one totally in control and the other one not? Or is it kind of a balance and therefore you're having much more of a conversation? Once we look at all of those things, we'll then write your number down if you're doing well.
Blimey, there's a lot to it, isn't there?
Yeah, of course there is. We take it very seriously. You know, we're judging a number of competitions.
Your face went really serious there.
It did. Well,
don't diss me.
It matters to people because people put a lot of time and effort into practicing for competitions. And as a judge, I've been judging for 25 years as well.
Yeah.
It's really important that you can look at it, and if somebody turns around to you and said, why did you put that couple first? You can say, they did this, this and this. That's why I did it. And quite often people say, but what about this couple? I didn't see them doing those things. They may have done it, but I may have not been watching them at that point. So yeah, we do have before we forget, a little clip from my sister as well.
Yes, we do.
Do you want me to play that to you?
Yes, please.
Is there anything you need to say before, or?
No, just a message from your sister.
Just a message from my sister. Here we go.
Hey, Brother Darius, just want to say a massive thank you for everything you do for me. Always being there to listen and to be my rock. I truly am grateful and very lucky to have you as my brother. And I love you lots. Take care.
I'm not going.
You are. You totally are.
Oh, you're going as well.
I am, because you're making me emotional.
Thank you, little sis.
Yeah.
It used to be known as Little Big Sis, LBS. And she's lost, I don't know how much weight, but I think it's about 5 stone at the moment.
Oh, wow.
Something like that. It might be even more. I lose track because she literally just posts lots of things saying this is how much. And she's done brilliantly. The drive and determination for her to keep going, is difficult. She has a lot of stresses in her life. And she does incredibly well. So she's now just Little Sis.
Well, she loves you.
No.
She loves you long time. So we also have a little comment in. Oh, he's wiping a tear away. You can't see it, but he can. Oh,
I know.
Well, hopefully this will make you cry too.
Great.
So we have a message from Eva.
Okay.
Your daughter. Which daughter?
Daughter number 3.
Daughter number 3.
The 18-year-old, just about to turn 18.
Okay. And she says, "Hi, Dad. Thanks for always being there, even when I was being difficult. I can only hope that one day I can be as funny as you think you are."
Aww. Yeah.
She's got your sense of humour.
She does, yeah. Again, dancing-wise, she's a lovely dancer. She's got loads and loads of musicality. And again, she's got an incredible work ethic. She really will put her effort into everything she can do. She's equally autistic and ADHD as well.
Oh, really?
So she struggles with it quite a lot. Focus-wise, it's definitely a difficult thing for her. And she's taught me quite a lot in how to focus and her methods behind it. So yeah, a lot of time for Eva.
Yeah.
Of course, as a child of mine, of course I would have.
Yeah. Are we going with the F word here?
The F word?
Favourite?
No, I don't have a favourite. They're all equal to me.
Yeah, whatever.
Of course they are. Mary has actually messaged in. I'm just going to read this out very quickly. So she says, loving your interview and your candidness. I once came up and hugged you from behind, and I could tell instantly that that was a mistake on my part, as I could tell you were not comfortable, although you coped really well. Another time I came up to you and held my arms out to invite you to hug, and so you were more comfortable with that and gave me a lovely big hug. Oh, that's nice, isn't it?
Yeah.
I don't remember that, if I'm honest with you. But I actually really like hugging. Lots of autistic people don't like that, but yeah, I do. But I always try and, because I know lots of people don't like hugs, so therefore I'll always kind of offer my arms out and go, hug, hug me.
Yeah.
So that's kind
you
of.
want to.
But yeah, it's more. I would suggest that's more the surprise than anything else.
Yes. Who is it behind me? Should I enjoy this or not?
Couldn't possibly comment on that.
I'm a hugger. I'm a big hugger, and I do forget that people are not always a huggables.
No, and it's quite, it's a really weird one. In the dancing world, most of the time we hug each other, which was why COVID was incredibly challenging for most dancers, because you couldn't. And that was really, really weird. And I definitely got out of the habit of knowing who I could hug and who I don't. And I'm quite aware that, like, at the beginning of the night, quite often crew members come up to me and they'll hug me. And then I'm like, oh, damn, I haven't hugged half the other crew members. Do they now feel left out? Do they think I don't favour them? And I have all of these conversations going on in my head.
And you should.
I know.
If you didn't hug me, I'd have something to say.
But I sometimes I just don't think. And that's what my lovely wife would say. Sometimes I simply don't think. But there we go. It's almost time for more music. Have you got another bit on this?
So we have a couple of other questions.
Go on,
so if you hadn't become a dance teacher, this is from Dot.
Okay.
Mama Bear. Would there be anything else that you'd want to do?
Blimey. I don't know, because I always wanted to be Patrick Swayze. That was always my dream, and I think probably if I wasn't being a dance teacher, I would run a business. I feel like I can do that reasonably well. I try and look after the crew as much as possible, because they are the most important thing. Whenever you run any business, you can't do it by yourself. And I'm very fortunate to have a lot of engaged crew. So but yeah, writing my book, doing the charity auctioneering and all of that type of stuff and being a radio show host. Probably if I could choose anything, I suppose, it would be on radio full time.
That's what I thought you might say.
Yeah.
That's what I thought you might say.
I love it. It's great. It's a great medium, and it's, you literally are just talking to one person. You just all of a sudden realise other people are listening in.
Well, you hope.
You hope. That's always the hope anyway. I'm going to play another track.
All right, my love.
Okay, so yeah, I'm playing this track because there's a video which I've never published because it's of my family, of course. And it's a video of them miming this on the bed. And they all pretend to play guitar and all sorts of stuff. And it's one of my favourite videos of my kids. I'm going again. Here we go.
Today I don't feel like doing anything. I just wanna lay in my bed. Don't feel like picking up my phone, so leave a message at the tone. 'Cause today I swear I'm not doing anything. I'm gonna kick my feet up, then stare at the fan. Turn the TV on, throw my hand in my... Nobody's gonna tell me I can't. Nah, I'll be lounging on the couch, just chilling in my Snuggie. Quit the MTV so they...
Back for the last part now. It's myself as the guest. Today it's all about me. Sarah Wheadon has been my interviewer all the time, which is good. Next week on my show, Ben Buttigieg is back, my expert on technology. We're talking all about electric vehicles. Any questions for that, email studio@radiobath.com. But Sarah, back to you. You've got another comment, I believe.
I do. I have a little comment from a Rose.
Okay, I know a Rose.
She says, how lucky am I to be working in a business that makes everyone smile and is so good for our health and well-being. I love working for you. Thank you for asking me.
Oh, Rose is incredible. She really is. When people say to me, I'm so organised, I literally go in my head, Rose is so organised.
Everybody needs a Rose.
She does a brilliant job for me. We work very closely to make the business work. And I am very lucky that the business that we have makes people happy. I'm not selling double glazing as I did at one point, trying to batter people into
Can't
having
imagine you doing that. That
It
must
was
have been miserable.
It was horrific. It really was. I did it for about 6 months or so, travelling to Brighton from Portsmouth in my Mini every day. And it was hard. And this is at a point where double glazing was fading. Everybody had double glazing, so it was either replacing something or just doing the back of the house or something like that. So it was very challenging. Not something I'd like to repeat.
Yeah.
I'm not quite sure what that face was, if I'm honest, or how
That
that
was
came
a
across already.
yawn.
Okay, fair enough.
Yawn.
Cool. It's quick fire round, isn't it?
It is the quick fire round.
These aren't the normal questions, are they?
No, they are not.
I don't have access to these questions. I generally don't know what's going to happen next. You've got 7 minutes to go for this.
To go for it. Okay. So, first question. Knight Rider or A-Team?
Oh, I want to do both. I used to watch them both.
Nope,
Kit.
one or the other.
One or the other. On Knight Rider, it's cooler.
Knight Rider, okay.
Yeah.
All right, I thought you were doing on A-Team, but never mind.
Yeah.
Who's your favourite child?
They are all equal to me.
Boring answer. Cannonball into the pool or dip a toe in first?
Oh, definitely getting... I'm going to go even further than that. Normally getting pushed into the pool. So, yeah, it's one of the delights. Certainly if I'm going with our youngest on holiday, I'm like, do you want to push me in the pool? And she's like, with glee. She just stands there, just shoves me in. So, yeah, I'm definitely a jumper in.
Revenge.
It's all right once you're in.
Are you more cautious or bold?
Oh, definitely bold.
Bold.
Bold. Not bald. I do have my full head of hair still. But, yeah,
I can confirm that.
I will go for everything and then worry about it later. I'll say yes and then go, how the monkeys am I going to do that? So, yeah.
I'll work it out. Are you more of a thinker or a doer?
Oh, am I more of a thinker or a doer? He says, repeating the question to give himself more time to answer.
I noticed.
Yeah, I know. So did I. I think a lot, but I also do a lot without thinking, which sometimes gets me into trouble. I'm
We've
very,
heard this.
I'm very quick at making decisions, and because I run a business and do what I do, I think about it for as long as I can. And then I will make the decision, and I then won't question the decision again. I'll just move on to the next thing. I can't have the scenario of, oh, should I have done that? What should I have done? I'll look at it maybe if I'm having to make a similar decision next time, and that's where the thinking will come back into it.
Yeah.
But once I've made a decision, done, move on, go.
Okay, maybe I need to take some notes on that. We've spoke a bit about this, but do you prefer social time or alone time?
It depends who the social time is with, if I'm honest with you. So, interestingly, I play football every week, and I love playing football, and I'm coming back from injury still, and I really missed playing football, and I love the banter of being on the football pitch. I wouldn't go to the pub afterwards with them, because I find that bit very, very difficult. So yeah, I'd probably say social time with certain people I think is amazing, and I love that, but yeah, most of the time I think I'm quite happy by myself.
All right. So would you prefer to have physical strength or mental strength?
Definitely mental strength. Yeah. Physical strength, you can always get somebody else to do it for you.
That's
But
a good
mentally
point.
you can't. So yeah, I'd love to, having that quick thought is for me the thing. Good questions these, Sarah, by
Good
the way.
answers.
Yeah. Oh, good.
Love or friendship?
Love or friendship? Are they not one and the same thing?
No.
Are they not? Love. Yeah. Hits deeper for you, definitely.
I'm glad you said that because you've cried so much today.
I have. I know. Literally, I'm wiping the tears away a lot of the time.
Would you rather sleep in late or take a long nap in the midday?
Sleep in late. That would be definitely my way of doing it. Nap in the day. I have done it on the odd occasion. I know I'm getting... There was a bit I did many years ago on this radio show when I said, you're getting old when... ... Yeah. And having a nap in the middle of the day was one of those. The other one, and I can ask you this question, is do you have a favourite spatula?
I do. I do. And a spoon.
I guarantee you no 20-year-old has got a favourite spatula or spoon. So yeah, if I have a nap in the day, I'm then really affected the rest of the day. So I'd much rather have a lay-in, which very rarely happens for me.
Okay, all right.
Yeah.
Well, maybe you should do that more often. Who's your favourite taxi dancer?
Oh, I don't have I don't have a favourite taxi dancer. I have one taxi dancer who generates more atmosphere in the taxi sessions than any other, and that would be your mum.
Oh, you sook.
Well, it's true. And she just generates such atmosphere in the classes that she does, to the point where when we're in the classes in the main room, we can hear the laughter and everything going on in the other room. She generates that amount. Doesn't matter what venue I'm in. You can always hear them laughing, and she's so enthusiastic with the beginners. She inspires so many people to dance. So yeah, your mum Dot.
You have got yourself into such hot water now.
Well, I don't think so, because she's been around for a long time. She's incredibly experienced, and everybody knows she does a great job.
Oh, you're going to so get letters back. Money or...
I love all the other tax dancers as well, by the way.
Too late? You're too late? You should have went down the same route as you did with your children.
Everybody's equal, yes.
Uh-oh.
Oh, yeah.
Money or happiness?
Oh, happiness. Yeah, I'm not driven by money, which, being a dance teacher, it says everything about that, really. I could have stayed in the corporate world and no doubt, I was being offered a senior manager's role just before I left, and they turned around and went, "You've got down to the last two. We'll be honest with you. We're not going to give you the job. You do the job very well, but we're not going to give it to you because we know that your dancing is your passion, and that's where you're going to go to." I went, "Yeah, you're probably right." But I could have made it in the corporate world, I believe. I found the corporate world very difficult because people just make it hard work to make a decision, and I find that really challenging.
Irritating.
Yeah, just get on with it.
Yeah.
Stop having meetings. Just do some work. So I find that very difficult. But yeah, definitely happiness.
All right. If you could, would you rather travel to the past or to the future?
I want to say both here again. I'd love to travel to the past and correct some of my mistakes that I've made.
Oh, wouldn't we all?
That would be lovely. I would love to travel just 10, 15 years into the future, though, and see how much AI is actually having an impact on people. That bit there, and then come back. And
So not to see where you are in 10, 15 years' time?
I suppose I'd be affected by what everybody else is doing at that point, but and also seeing how my kids are doing and all of that. But I'd be fascinated because AI is definitely coming in very, very quickly, more and more by the day. It's on an exponential curve at the moment, and I'd love to see how much the nanobots are going around and our brains are connected to the cloud. And we'll find more about that with Ben next week. Link away to next week between 10 and 12.
So if you could go back to the past mistakes, what would be the biggest mistake that you wish you could change?
What would be the biggest mistake that I'd change? Just not finding out about me. That would be understanding who I am. That's the mistake I'd love to be able to change, which of course you can't look back and, I'll probably look back in 10 years and wish that I'd realised who I am now.
Yeah.
So we're always going to have that. But yeah, I wish I'd have had, I suppose, people around me that could help me, and therefore that's what I've done, is helped those. Yeah. We've got 20 seconds left, by the way.
Oh my goodness. Oh, okay. Salty or sweet?
Definitely salty. Yeah, I'm not a cake person. I know your mum makes all the cakes. I don't eat cake. So yeah,
Weirdo.
I could eat a whole packet of Pringles without blinking. So yeah. That's it. Time's up, Sarah.
No, I've got so many more things.
I know, but I'm afraid time's up. Charlotte's on next, so I've been here for 2 3/4 hours already, so I can't hog the airwaves anymore.
Maybe I could chat to Charlotte.
Maybe you could. Thank you so much for today, Sarah. I've really appreciated it.
It's been an absolute pleasure. I've had an absolute ball again.
I'm not quite sure if anybody knows anything more about me just yet, but we'll see what happens. If you want to catch up on any of this, if you have missed it, then I will create a podcast of this, which again is very bizarre, and it'll be available if you type in Radio Bars to any podcast provider. Next week, Ben Buttigieg is on. We're talking all about electric vehicles. Cannot wait for that. And if you missed my Chesney Hawkes interview that was broadcast earlier on today, again, that's already available either on the podcast or you can look on my YouTube channel, Richard Beauvoisin. I'm leaving you with a track which I loved back in the 90s. A bit of Duran Duran.
Oh, wow.
Ordinary World. Have a fantastic week, everybody. I'll see you again next week.